Hi, welcome to another video on the channel. In this one, I'm going to go back and I'm going to react to my 2023 season predictions. I forgot, to be honest with you, what I had predicted for the most part. So once I had done this, I realized there were some interesting differences with what I thought would happen and what did happen. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to ask you to reflect on your season predictions. Now, some of you actually commented your season predictions. So I want you to go check out the season predictions video. If you commented, get your comments, bring them to this video, put them down in the comment section and reflect on what happened with your season predictions. It's a bit of a blur, to be honest, to be finally here talking about season 2023 as if, it's happening in the next week, which it is. We're just over a week away now from round one against the Tigers Thursday night. And I'm just grateful that we're living in a time where time has passed since the end of 2022. That was a disaster of an off season. And I'm also now grateful that we're living in a time where we're over a year removed from that time. Now, listen, 2022 was a good year for me as a fan. I enjoyed it for the most part. It ended in arguably the most heartbreaking of circumstances. I am broken in this video. I can remember it being so difficult. The scarring stayed for a long time. It did. As a season can be ended, I think, for a team that has ambitions to win premierships and play finals football for the first time in way too long. So to finally have that time pass and to be here, I'm really happy about. I'm grateful that our pain now is on-field results as opposed to dysfunction and the pain of supporting a club with constant change and constant negativity around who's running the club. Do we have faith in the people that are at the club, etc.? True. That went up another level this year, the trust factor, I think. I'm now at a point where I've got a lot of faith in the key leaders at the club. That is, the president, CEO, the head coach. I have faith in that. I have faith in the team that's around the head coach as well. And that is not something that I had for a long time, a very long time. I had question marks. Obviously, when a new coach comes in and a new group comes in, you've just got to give them a chance. But I have a lot more faith in what is happening now with who the people are at the club now. That's good. I think that rings true to this day. What am I excited about this year? Well, without wanting to get too far ahead of myself, I'm excited about that prospect and the thought of walking to finals football round one. That's true. And that we did. I still remember how good that was, walking to Sydney at the MCG. Oof. That was, mate, you ended up seeing it. That's what I'm excited about. So I'm hoping that with what's happened in the last 12 months, with the right changes that were made 12 months ago, and then, effectively executing on a process and a game plan, I'm excited by the prospect of stability being a cornerstone of the group. Well, one thing I was not ready for was how much it would be tested. I was ready for it and excited for it, but I was not ready for the level that it would be tested. What am I worried about? Well, I'm worried about not making it again. I'm worried and mindful of failing again, failing to reach the goal again. For me, what is a pass mark for the year? In my mind, a pass mark this year would be, win a final. Amen. Yeah. It still was, I think, even before we played the first final. It's like, we have to win this one. That's the pass mark for me. If we make finals and then bow out in an absolute thriller, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I want us to, in my mind, the next step for us isn't just making finals, it's winning the final. So that's where I sit in my mind on that. But I am worried about the prospect of what if it doesn't happen again. And it's difficult. It's difficult to say that because Wow, can you imagine we didn't do it again? This was a broken preview. It really was. Had we not done it again, it would have been really difficult to front up. Curious is, as the season goes on and you never know what is around the corner. You never know. You never know what is around the corner. There are twists and turns happening all the time. 8-2 last year was a massive twist that nobody saw coming. Maybe less than the end of the season in the way that we let it slip. So I think another year of experience covering the group as deeply as I do has taught me to try and stay in the moment, not get too carried away. But how can you not? I mean, how can you not? It's true. It's so hard not to. It's so hard not to. After round 13, especially, you just, it's an art. It really is. It's a yearly art that is a struggle to improve on. When they play the way they play, when they're at their best, and they go on a run, it's so difficult to stay level-headed. So while the players and the coaches need to stay in the moment, it's so hard for the fans to not try and make educated guesses on what's going to happen and almost live in the future. And maybe that's the challenge for us, just to take it week by week. We'll enjoy it. There's no doubt about that. We get the benefit of being out of control, which it's difficult to watch, difficult to cover because you're totally out of control. Nothing that I say or do or think has any bearing on the result of any game, period. Nothing. I think I say that. I think I'm still saying that. I'm like repeating myself all year long with that. Nothing that anyone says or thinks has any bearing on the result of anything that happens this year. Let me go through some of my predictions, and I'm going to ask you to do the same as well. Okay. So we'll start with the number of wins. I have got us winning 14 games. So obviously we won the 12 last year. I think we win 2 more. We do have an extra game in the season to play, which is another factor as well. And yeah, I think 2 extra wins on top of last year. I believe that could be good enough for 5th or 6th place, or anywhere between 5th and 7th. I think a lot of us had the group in the same general area. 12 to 13 wins. Some of us had 14, and finishing in that, 5th to 7th bracket. I think actually, no, some people had us in sort of 7th to 10th, but for the majority of the predictions that I saw, this was pretty consistent. The best and fairest, I've said this a few times now, from the start of the preseason until now, and I think that's Jacob Wiedering. I think he's primed. I think his 2022 was cut short unfairly. Yeah. By the time it got to best and fairest night, I thought Newman had taken it out. Chera obviously started strongly as well. But I think, after what happened to Wieders last year, look, we reflect now, Wieders one of the best and fairest. So should have just stuck with that. I think he sits comfortably in that upper echelon of defenders in the league. Still do. That's a farce. I think Wiedering is far better than that. Maybe I have a bias because he's a Carlton man, but I just think he sits comfortably in that defensive group along with the best. My most improved player initially, as most of you who watch the channel would know, I had Zach Williams in this basket. Obviously, he won't be playing this year. So I think Adam Chera will be our most improved player. Feel like if he didn't get injured, he probably would have been, to be honest. He might still have been our most improved player. What do you think? The best first-year player? Ooh. Well, it's obviously between, I think, Cowan and Hollins. I love both these kids, so I don't really want to separate them, but see, I love Hollins because I love his footwork. I love his work rate. And I love Cowan because he's got, I don't know, something. There's something in there. I think we all felt it a little bit with Liam Stocker, and why we loved Stocker was just this aggressiveness and this aggressive and competitive nature. And I think Cowan has that. And I think after the preseason and after chatting with Pommy enough, I can't go past Lockie Cowan. I like what he fell away a little bit, Cowan. Once he was in the side, then he was out of the side. He never really got close to coming back. But Ollie Hollins, mate, this kid, he got the job done. Whatever that means. Most goals, I think it'll be Charlie. I think there's a lot of people, there's a narrative out there that, thinks it's Harry's turn, and it might be, and that'd be awesome. I think both of them are capable of 60 plus goals this year, maybe even 70 plus goals if everything goes right. Said this before, we need as many repetitions with the two of them together in the side as possible.
We still do.
We should be very grateful to have both of them in the side. We talk a lot about who's the third consistent goal scorer.
We still do.
I mean, not many clubs have two Coleman medal caliber forwards in their forward line. So we need to make the most of that, and we need to make teams pay for that. So
did we do that? I don't think we did. For the most part, I don't think we saw the best of Harry Mackay. I think we saw the best of Charlie, but I don't think we saw the best of Harry.
So having said that, Charlie, for me, now this will be his second full preseason in a row after having a few, severely interrupted preseasons and seasons as well. So I actually think he's got a lot more improvement to come. I think his composure will start to come into play. I think he'll learn some lessons from 2022.
I think that happened with Charlie. I do think that happened. He got teammates around him better. He wasn't rushing those set shots. We still talk about that last game against the Pies in round 23, 2022. Yeah, I think we saw improvement there.
The surprise packet of the year. So I think it's going to be one of Caleb Marchbank or Dave Cunningham.
I mean, I think I was surprised to see both of them come back the way that they did. Who was the surprise packet of the year? Maybe Kemp. Nah, like the Chincotta. That was a big surprise. I think Akers as well. That was a bit of a surprise to me.
Need to see it. Who do we need to see it from? Who is at that point where I wouldn't say make or break, but
it's make or break, mate.
It's kind of there. And for me, that's Paddy Dow. He's a highly talented player. He's a good kid. He really is. For whatever reason, he hasn't been able to just put it on the park consistently and just elevate and have that penny drop moment. He's shown what I think to be glimpses at times, but yeah, I'm not sure where we sit at the end of this year. I don't think we're a club anymore that can just hold on to hope for 5, 6, 7 years.
That's true. Unfortunately, Paddy didn't do enough with this prediction, and absolutely, we're no longer at a point where we can afford to wait. We can't. We're in the window now.
I can't wait to see the development of Pommy again, going up another level.
Absolutely,
the Jumper Punch Boys, the Almost Blues Brothers. Then you got the girls, the AFLW show. The new girls.
The besties. The besties.
Footy in being a fan and watching the footy this year, but also in life. I know for me, it's just to quote the famous Brendan Bolton, just to find
a
little bit more equilibrium. Just bridge the gap between our emotional highs and our devastating lows. And
I don't think we did this well.
Just find something in the middle. I think it's not dissimilar.
Well, I mean, the season was so lopsided. It was like the ultimate low with the ultimate high. And that did reflect in my emotions, and I think in our emotions.
Similar to this group, they've got to do the same thing as well. They've got to try and stay on top of their emotions and their anxiety and their minds from escaping the moment and going too far ahead or too far away and fearing the failure. So, yeah, that's my ethos for the year. Things I'm going to be working on.
I've got to get better at that. Got to get better at that next year. No excuse.
For myself, for the channel as well. And I can't wait to ride the roller coaster with all of you again.
Mate, little did you know what you were about to ride.
So there you go. I was kind of on the right track. Wiedering, I was pretty hot on that. I didn't stick with it, though. Once it got to best and fairest night, I thought Nick Newman was the best player of the year. Chera, I think, had he not gotten injured, he may still have been our most improved player. I'm not sure. I'll let you decide on that one. And yeah, that's that. I think looking ahead, early days now for next year. Mate,
Sam Walsh, best and fairest. Lock it in. I'm going to lock it in right now. 10th of October, 2023. It's Sam Walsh next year. It has to be. Full preseason needs to happen, obviously, but I think he's got the fuel now, and I think even just watching him at the Brownlow, that image of him looking ahead, stone-faced, that says a lot. I like Sam Walsh. I think Zach Williams will probably feature. I had Jack Silvani as a real breakout candidate. I think I might do the same next year, but we'll see. But I think for now, the names that pop up into my mind to look out for are Walshy, Zach Williams, TDK, and maybe a little bit of Corey Durden, a bit of fire in the belly for Durds. Let us know in the comments below. How did you go? How did you do with your season predictions? And what were the surprises for season 2023? We'll see you in the comments. Go Blues.